Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Afternoon. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Afternoon. Today is February 22nd, 2024. It's a Thursday. Look at that. Saying the word afternoon completely throws me off. What do I say here? All right, this is Markets in the Afternoon, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market. Take a peek over there at the stock market, as it has been open for 4.5 hours. And we take a peek over there at precious metals and gold. And then lastly, we take a look over there at the United States stock market. What am I doing? I don't even know how to say this stuff. Lastly, we take a look over there at any type of financial news and any type of crypto news that goes on out there. Just goes to show you, like, you get used to your intro and you just kind of rattle it off like you've got it all memorized and it just flows off the tongue, and then you mess up change one thing and it throws everything off. All right, there we go. Welcome, guys. Happy afternoon, everybody. If you didn't stay to the end of the live stream yesterday in Markets in the Morning, I had totally slipped my mind to mention it in the beginning, but at the very, very, very end of Markets in the Morning yesterday, I had mentioned that we would have a later Markets in the Morning or Markets in the Afternoon today, and I did try to update you guys in the community tab over there here on YouTube, posting it yesterday and then reminding again this morning it would be an afternoon stream today. If you're not using mobile, you're probably not going to see that, at least on all my feeds. Like if I'm on my TV, if I'm on my computer, I don't see anything for the community tab in my subscription feed. But if you're on mobile, you would have saw it. Otherwise, let us get a go. The good news is, like, I know you guys have dealt with a lot. Like last week, we had computer issues. We had to do a Markets in the Afternoon. Monday was a financial market holiday, right? But we did end up putting out a video on Monday. And then today, here we are again. It's another Markets in the Afternoon. Still showing up and putting up content every day, even on the holiday. But, you know, sometimes we got to roll with the punches. The good news is it should be consistent for the next 3 weeks from now. We should be good for 3 weeks until I go to this thing, right? Till I go to Australia for the XRP Gold Coast 2024, where I am speaking. Then for that week, we just won't even have Markets in the Morning at all. Yeah. But check that out. I got a link in the description to that thing if you guys want to take a look at that. They also have virtual tickets to that thing as well. All right, there you go. A lot going on in markets today, right? So you got the stock market ripping. This is crazy because I'm going to make the tweet here in a minute if we actually get it. I have a little alarm set to go off at 39,087. So right now we're at 39,061. We are 16 points away from the Dow Jones Industrial Average being up 504% since the great financial crisis, making this bubble the exact same height and size. Oh, sorry, I got my math wrong. Now we're at like 17 points. The exact same height as the Roaring 20s from 1921 through 1929. We are a mere 14 points away from it right now. So if you hear a large ding, and you're like, what was that? That ding marks the exact moment that the Dow Jones Industrial Average bubble is the exact same size as the Roaring 20s. So if that happens during this live stream, you know where you were. You saw it happen live, the exact same height as the 1920s bubble. And so we are currently now slipping back a little bit. We're about 30 points away from being precisely the same height as the Roaring 20s for the Dow. Of course, this big rip happening here is coming off of NVIDIA earnings yesterday that came out, which NVIDIA once again beats earnings. I think somebody in the live stream asked yesterday, hey, I'm thinking about shorting NVIDIA. I'm like, well, you know, a lot of dead bodies who have attempted to do that one. Again, up 15% today. So people who are doing call options, working out, people who are doing puts, but a struggle. That bubble just keeps on going. Coinbase is up, Roblox is up, Meta is up, Amazon is up, all over 3%. ARK right on the cusp of it at 2.87%. Only thing in the red over there is Ford. Otherwise, you got a bunch of green over there on the right side of the screen. Short duration, really just mixed over here on yields, where you have the NASDAQ up 500. This is like blow-off style stuff. Dow Jones up 448 over here. Metals pretty tame in here, down less than 0.5%. Looks like silver's about 0.5%. DXY 103.95. Bitcoin still day number 9. I posted this over there on Twitter earlier this morning. The 9th day in a row that it has been stuck underneath the 702 retracement. Going through this for as long as it was, being like, what could you imagine the idea if Bitcoin got back to the 702 retracement and then we actually end up having these indexes all hit their 4.236 extensions at the exact same time? And here we are living and breathing it and seeing it happen in real life. So if you ever hear me say magical unicorn fairy dust, puppet masters pulling the puppet strings, God, or a simulation, think about all the things that had to happen for all of these events to happen at the exact same time. We're talking a bubble in the Dow that starts over here in 2009. We're talking about a bubble over here that the peak to trough is from 2000 to 2002 versus 2007 to 2009. They both reach full extensions. These percentages are totally different. This is a 2,000% rise for the NASDAQ. This is a 500% rise over here for the Dow. They're both reaching extensions based on two completely different time frames, and Bitcoin back at the 702 retracement at the exact same time. Unreal. That is purely, if you want to live and breathe it and understand it, when I say puppet masters pulling the puppet strings, God, simulation, or magical unicorn fairy dust, for all those things to happen at the exact same time, that is the example. Is it a simulation? How could it all happen? How could all the events have unfolded over the last 20 years, in the last month, in the last 5 days, whatever it is, to make it all happen at the same time? Somehow it just does. Absolutely amazing and crazy. Moving over here to the altcoin market, total two. I have removed stablecoins from here. So we've removed USDT, USDC, DAI. Here we are sitting still, Wyckoff, this thing's still waddling around in here. Things like with gold, right? Like we've talked a lot about this, just reiterating in it here. We can have a lot of washing machine happening in here before we go for that bigger move to happen over there for the altcoin market in here. Again, my thoughts have just been, waddling here for Bitcoin, like in an ABC correction happening in here. I understand everybody wants this thing to completely break out. It's just not my base case. It's not my thesis for what's going to happen with Bitcoin, but should it actually end up happening, holy guacamole, I will benefit because this is where my money is at in the market. My money is located over here in the altcoin market, which quite a few bigger ones over there today. I saw an announcement over there on Twitter this morning as well. Grayscale has filed for a privacy ETF. Let's go, man. Dude, let's go, man. Whether or not that thing ends up getting approved or not, like we won't go too deep into that today. But we all want privacy when it comes to our financial transactions. All right, moving over there to XRP. XRP still holding that 54-cent level. Man, we're getting really close to kind of seeing if we can get some magical unicorn fairy dust to kind of show up here in this one, right? So we know we've been looking for somewhat of a back test to happen for this region in here, looking for that 54-cent area. Yesterday and the day before, right? Was it yesterday? Yesterday, right? So we were watching it saying, hey, it's okay to wick below there. We'd like to see that 54-cent hold. Again, we're still holding it again today. It's still just sitting right in there. Things to keep an eye out for is if we really just shift right back up to the top of the range and pull back, this is where we'll be looking. I personally will be sitting there saying, all right, magic. All right, unicorns. It's time to go ahead and release the news. It's time to do it. Where is this thing? In here? They move it again? Why can I never find it? You're going to sit here and wait for me. Why is my brain drawing a blank? This is what happens when we do this in the afternoon now. The arrow used to be in here, but they had moved it, and it's in here, right? There it is. Okay. If we get news right there, epic, uncontrollable, epic news right in something like that, you will know you live in a simulation. You will know this whole thing is scripted. You will know it was absolutely part of the plan. Don't. But if it does happen, yeah. How about that? Right. So that's kind of what we're looking for. We're still, for me, looking for supports to still just remain in here, continue rotational movements. We've seen lots of altcoins get really nice moves happening up in here. You've seen Filecoin really getting to pop there. Now Filecoin taking out the height back there from January. So now at the highest since March, but you really see that over there too on its market cap. I do own a little bit of Filecoin. But if you look at this, there you go. You've just now taken out the whole range, really dating all the way back to April of 2022. So we're seeing lots of movement there. I own HBAR as well. HBAR leaves its accumulation schematic. It's now at the preliminary support phase, trying to get a bigger break. It looks like it wants to do it. So keep your eyes out, HBAR Barians. I know that's what you guys call yourself. I own HBAR as well. Why? High development. I'm in it to win it. So there you go, HBAR, good deal. Bitcoin's still on that big struggle bus right there underneath that retracement level. Dow Jones Industrial Average, 25 points away from the height of the roaring 20s at this point right now. NASDAQ, of course, has already gotten there to that 4.236. It's very interesting to see that NASDAQ pull back down enough juice to give the Dow more room to get one more big push up in there. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. All right, there, DXY 103.95. So a push back down earlier today, but then it's kind of just right back where it started. It's down 0.05% today. Gold, kind of a washing machine over there as well. Still just sitting up in here, right? So if you kind of move this to the monthly time frame, which is kind of how I'm looking at it, you can see where it's at. None of these candles, right? This is the range that's dated back for the last 3 years. Still, we are now on 4 months sitting above the height of the highest close happening in here for gold. If you have read the Great Market Convergence, Bitcoin Stocks, and Gold, which is a newsletter that I published over there on Substack. This is the most recent one that I published last week ago today. We really incorporate how that chart right there, that of what's going on right there, it does not sit well with what's going on here with the Dow. And when we tie in the federal funds rate and why we're watching it from this manner, right? I had somebody comment, I talked about it yesterday, Marcus, this morning. Somebody said, you just want this to happen. Do you realize a lot of people are going to be in pain if that ends up occurring? Of course, a lot of people would be in pain. Just because we're saying this does not mean I'm cheering for it or want this for anybody. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to look at these things and just ignore them and not pay attention to them and say, let's go, right? That's exactly what behavior is at levels like this. I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm going to point to it and say, holy crap, yikes, this is where we are. And if you want to rally with your friends on Twitter, go for it. But these are the things that I've taught for years of YouTube videos, all of this. These are the levels to be paying attention to. I'm going to talk about them. It has nothing to do with me cheering for it. I'm hoping somebody is listening to me and watching as close of an eye as I am, right? I'm never going to tell you when to buy or when to sell or to do anything. But you have seen reactions like this before. You have seen them happen before. And you've even seen them if you've been in this market for the last 3 years, which when I conducted a poll the other day, 96% of you have. You were here in 2021. So you've undoubtedly seen this exact thing happen right here. You saw it happen in Bitcoin and in Ethereum. So it's up to you on how you're going to treat it, but you see it yourself. We're there, right? All right. There we go. So this is kind of like, these are my thoughts right now on what we have over here with altcoin market, right? I mean, this thing is just, it's been an absolute delight to be able to track this. You know, we've been doing this Wyckoff accumulation stuff in here, tracking it in this manner for, I'd say a year, right? So like, I remember when we posted, we started talking about cruel summer, right? Remember talking about cruel summer, talking about A, B, C correction happening in here. Like, look, this is really exciting. So there's going to be videos dated back there in January and February. Look, this is really exciting, but we probably have the long, cruel summer ahead of us, and it's gonna suck, right? And then we get through it, and everybody's just a toxic mess during the whole time, as would be anticipated, and anticipated that the 12K callers would still stay around during that time. But then, you know, at the end of the year, as anticipated, having some excitement for a few months there at the end of the year. We got it. We've escaped. Now we've been doing Sign of Strength. How phenomenal is that? Just the timing of the structure of it all, the escape. But just knowing that, you know, in this area, just because we're out, doesn't mean it's like, straight line up happening in there. You know, when we can look at examples of it, they can get really sloppy. And what was real interesting about this one too, of course, that was COVID, when all that kind of slop showed up in there. Upon that break, right? So here's your sign of strength above your Wyckoff accumulation schematic. This, like, I would almost call this extreme. I mean, you can't rule it out that it can't happen in the event that, hey, there's, oh shoot, 39083. Are we going to do it? Can't rule it out, right? There would be some volatility in the event of a big flush here. There it is. I told you you'd get it. All right, Twitter. Here you go. The place I'm hated more than anywhere in the entire world. Just for showing these things. People hate me. I don't understand. But okay. There it is. Posted. The Dow Jones Industrial Average bubble is officially the exact same height as the Roaring Twenties bubble from the 1920s. From 1921 through 1929, it rose 504%. From 2009 through 2024, it has now risen 504%. And you caught it live here. There it is, everybody. All right, where's the 4.236, just so we know? Because this has always been a little bit shorter than the 4.236. It is. Actually, I could have just looked over here. 39,206. So about another 120 points would get you at the 4.236 extension for the Dow. So again, it's nothing I cheer for. By all means, send this thing to Vahilla. I will greatly benefit from that. But we're not watching the caution here. We should be. All right, there you go. Bitcoin 51,625. No movement there today or in the last week, as it's back there at the 702 Fibonacci retracement level as the indexes have been hitting their 4.236 extensions. So move on over there to financial news this afternoon. AI and semiconductor stocks surge after NVIDIA's earnings beat. NVIDIA shares plop 15% after AI-fueled bumper earnings. Chip analysts boost NVIDIA price targets in race to catch up. Look at this dude. S&P 500 surges to all-time high in NVIDIA-led rally. Dow up 300 points. Tax evasion by millionaires and billionaires tops $150 billion a year, says IRS chief. Never hear about them getting arrested, that's for sure. Okay, Bloomberg. NVIDIA powers rally, rekindling AI frenzy stocks. 5 charts show how every market is hanging on the AI craze. NVIDIA tops Meta record with over $230 billion jump in value. NVIDIA's surge put CEO Huang on cusp of cracking world's 20 richest. AT&T says 3/4 of its mobile network has been restored. AT&T offers cybersecurity product for sagging business segment. U.S. steps up inquiry into AT&T Verizon over contamination in lead cables. T-bills without tax bills. This fund says it cracked the code. Bridgewater hit with second favoritism. Citadel made more than $4 billion from commodities in 2023. Okay, moving over there to crypto news. Athena Labs founder clarifies USDE stability amid high yield worries. Bitcoin's price rejects at 53K as futures open interest hits 2 years high. These are the same headlines from yesterday. Google to fix diversity, borked Gemini AI with Sam Altman's $7 trillion. Ask, really secure our future. Binance Labs invest in EigenLayer's liquid restaking service Renzo. Bitcoin futures open interest near alarm raising 24 billion level. Are bulls at risk, right? Open interest here at the 702, at the place where we always said retail would go bonkers at. They're longing it at the same levels as they did at the top. Open interest near alarm-raising levels. Oxford economist who predicted crypto going mainstream says quantum economics is next. Crypto advocacy group calls on Senate banking chair not to support Elizabeth Warren's AML bill. Michael Saylor to forever buy Bitcoin. No reason to sell the winner. You guys believe that? You guys believe a billionaire who is rallying the troops totally is never going to sell? Like he's like the good guy. He's your leader. You guys believe that? Bitcoin price rejects at 53K as futures open interest hits a 2-year high. Bitcoin ETF net inflows slow to a trickle as price flattens. The 10 spot funds attracted only 500 Bitcoin on Wednesday, the least since February 6th. WorldCoin gains 40%, hits record highs as AI tokens surge on NVIDIA. That's it. That's our news for today, guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. Watching the craze of the stock market, craze of the markets, Bitcoin stock. We're in for a wild ride, right? Either we go print the biggest bubble that we've ever seen in the history of all time in this stock market, or we're on the cusp of something with a confluence of all events at the same time. We shall see. All right, there we go. That's a nice little 20-minute ramble. We'll see if we can get through this pretty quick so it don't take too much of your afternoon. I thank you guys so much for tuning in and for watching. And yeah. Dustin gets a BCB membership before the stream started. Dustin, thank you very much. I saw you guys hanging out there and early. Jonas Fugalis also gifted one before the stream started. Thank you, Jonas. Crypto Razmatters, PSA on Arbitrum. There's a token unlock of 87% of circulating supply on March 26th. Don't know if that will affect price. Just a heads up. Thanks for everything. Yeah, I saw you post that in there, and I went looking for it myself to go see it. They do have a large token unlock. So like the current circulating supply right now is 1.48 billion, and then 1.11 billion will be unlocked in 22 days and 17 hours. So the question will be, where does unlock go? So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye on. You know, and when these tokens are brand new, they typically do unlock, but that's it's from a percentage standpoint of the entire supply. Like the entire supply is close to about, let's see, I don't know, what is it, like 6 or 8 billion or something like that? So you're unlocking one all at one time. It's quite a bit. Keep an eye on it. Dustin, I was hoping for your thoughts on Algorand. Yeah, I don't follow Algorand, or at least point to an old video. I've got a bag that's finally in the green, trying to decide whether to wait for higher retracements. Thanks. Right. I mean, the thing that we're in right now, unless you've got something that's just like totally abandoned, which we all got to witness in 2021, what happens with those, right? So it's going to be a responsibility to check Algorand. I tried to sound the alarms for the last year about Algorand's development activity, right? Like, and the total developers on Algorand, not from a FUD perspective, but that they were at the bottom of the list in like year over year, negative 57% and stuff like that. And just showing that. And like, because those were things that we didn't have our disposal in 2021 and 2022 to notice, and coins that were doing that in 2021 and 2022 or in 2020, those coins struggled into the bull, right? Like they never caught that steam to really get any upward trajectory. Again, like when the market's moving up, everything moves up together, right? Like if there's a time for XRP to have price action happen to it, guess what? It's now. Why? Because everything's going right now, right? Is there a time for Algorand to get moving? It's right now, right? But how much juice it has to squeeze out of it, right? We've seen retracements come in. There's profit taking happening very early. I think Algorand also was a victim of high inflation for a very long time. So there's a lot of supply out there, and I think they've corrected it. I'd have to check it. It's something that it wasn't something I was paying attention to, because you can go check the developer report. Electric Capital's developer report at developerreport.com. I don't even know if they're going to report on Algorand anymore at this point with how big of a fall off in developers they ended up having. But we talked about it several times in Markets in the Morning. There was never a video dedicated to it, and there's no way I could find out what date that I did talk about it. But yeah, brother, I don't know. Is it in this list? Maybe it is. There it is. Right. One of the problems with it, big drawdown in supply. our big drawdown due to an increase in supply. Let's take a look here. Let's get the actual. Oh no, it is right there. Okay, down 96%. So statistically speaking, it's going to have a hard time, like going to new all-time highs or anything like that because of the huge drawdown that it has had. I don't know if they'll give us a market cap for algo in here. And again, we're not going to do altcoin requests, guys. I just know that a lot of you guys hold this thing. No, they don't have it. Sorry, brother. Sorry, brother. Back to Bitcoin we go. Jonas, hey BCB, do you think Stark is bottoming already? That, like, man, I literally will have no idea, brother. I actually talked all about this yesterday, man. How difficult that is to figure that out on the new launch of those new tokens, right? It's not like I'm not willing. I haven't bought it yet, and if I miss it, I look at that. It got added to Coinbase. Boom. Like that's the things you look for, guys. Like that is what has been successful so far. You have 1 day's worth of data. Your chart is so minimum. It's like, let's see if I can stay on this 5 minutes. It's just so much data to go back with, right? Like you just didn't have that data right in here. And this is like a similar amount of time, right? So this is from Tuesday, 1600 all the way to Sunday, right? So this is a whole week, right? Like you're looking at a whole week and you're kind of thinking to yourself, hey, is that it? Is it bottomed? Right? No. How about now? No. How about now? No. How about now? Now? No. Now? No. Now? Yes. Right? So like, these new coins, that's always the struggle in there. And then like the opposite of it was when Tia did it, right? There you go. There's the release. So here you are 24 hours after the release, bouncing around in here. Bottomed? I don't know. Bottomed? I don't know. I don't know. Yes. Yes, it did. Right? Yes, it really did. Yes, it really did. Right? So like, it's very difficult with those new ones. And like for me, the only way I could do is like buy and hold. And it's like I'm throwing money into a money pit. Like it's a legit, like there's no TA that could be done on it, on the brand new ones. And like allocating it in that manner. Like I don't have any data to base a guess off of. The only data I have is it's high development and it's brand new. Is there some other seller on the other side who's got a lot of supply who's going to get rid of it in the beginning, or is there not? And you just don't know in the beginning, right? So yeah, with Stark, I don't know. Like, am I interested in buying it? Yeah, but am I a little uncomfortable? Because there might be a flush that happens in here or something like that. I don't know. I'm just going to give it a few days to kind of settle itself out a little bit. And then maybe nibble, but I don't know yet. Right? Like the brand new ones are so high risk on when you're buying. Like you just don't even have a support level to know if you're okay. Andy Philpott gifted a BCB membership. Brother, thank you, Andy. It was 5 minutes before the stream even started. And then right when the stream started, Eric had gifted one along with Holy Shnikes. Thank you guys so much. Crypto Onion says, do you think others market can reach while Bitcoin is in distribution? Do you see it making all-time highs or just retracing like the 702? Theoretically, I could see it poking into the all-time high if all we get is a retracement here for Bitcoin. Like if Bitcoin does break out through here, like I'm anticipating the altcoin market to go very high. But in an event like this, right, it's just kind of looking at it through the lens like this, right? If we're in distribution happening in here, if there's some pushing in here, could there be enough juice for it to get to an all-time high? Maybe, but really like the big thing I will watch for if we get a crystal clear, perfect thing. Like, man, if we could just get it so perfect, right? One, I promise you, there's a million people on Twitter who are ready to say BCB got left behind. No, it's just because I don't want to be in Bitcoin. I'm not going to be in Bitcoin. I don't give two rats about 30-something%. If that event happens right there, you better, in like a blink of an eye, the second that candle happens, you better have already swapped into here without even thinking about it, right? Because all that's going to take is these things fire off one by one and you did no better, right? If that's your strategy. However, in that event, that would be phenomenal. Guess what? Ballistic missiles of altcoins, okay? But in a realistic approach, for me, the way I'm having to approach it is think in like what would be the ideal scenario of like really controlled, easy to read stuff. Super easy to read stuff in here is for it to just distribute throughout here with some type of ABC. How deep that's going to go, don't know. It could come way down here. You can see examples of it where it doesn't go that low. It just stays real high, but it's trying to kind of look for that. And at the end of that C leg, watching these guys start to take off. If we saw a C leg end and then sudden explosions happening over here, it'd be a pretty good indicator. Then what would likely happen is that there's still one more high. BZB knows nothing. Knows nothing. Then a fall, and then that retracement. Wherever the altcoin market is, regardless of if it's a new high, regardless of if it only resides right there, that will be the moment where I'm screaming, I don't see up anymore. I just don't see it anymore. I can't make a case for it anymore, right? So whether altcoin market's an all-time high or not, like, could it? Yeah, I mean, like, this is exactly, where are you? Yeah, that's exactly what happens here, right? But I think it's really stuck, right? So like, could you do something like that? Yeah. Oscar says, how was your appointment? I'm asking for a friend. Hit the like, everybody. Yeah, I had something going on this morning. Thank you, Oscar. Chris M. I was appalled when they brought out the new pound coins here in the UK. But, you know, I never was a fan of change. Oh. You did a coin joke, Chris, so you get a little bit out of me for that. Thanks for PTW. Love you, BCB XOXO. Chris, thank you very much, and thank you for the coin joke. And it's so funny because my mind immediately went down like, oh, okay, yeah, the Britannia. Yeah, I got that one. You're right. Yeah, in 2023 they did add King Charles to that. Not a lot of people are big fans of that change that happened there. And then like I get it. You're not a fan of change. Yeah, I get it. All right, that's probably the biggest laugh you're going to get out of a cheesy joke from me, guys. All right, Jeff DeHoff, H-Bar, looking to get paid, buddy. Thanks for everything you do. Get spicy. Thank you very much, Jeff. Pat gives 5 memberships. Pat, thank you so much, sir. See you next month. Kashab Lakshman. Hey, BCB, can you look at inverse NVIDIA chart? It looks like a crashing structure and is just completed. Does that mean it has top? This is a bubble. Right, NVIDIA is just a straight up bubble. I don't think there's. I've looked at that chart. It's just straight line up. There's going to be a day, right? Everybody wants to catch it. Where is it going to be? Everybody wants to be the one who shorts that top, right? I totally get it. But there's a lot of dead bodies who have tried, right? I don't have any capacity to figure out where the top of NVIDIA is. It's a hype bubble, right? So hype bubbles can be nuts, right? It's like price to earnings ratio. It's like so out of whack. It's the most out of whack thing in history. It is 100% just nuts driven right now. So I don't know, man. It's going to be a sight to behold. Who will be the one holding the bag? I bet the day it pops, the day it does pop, would probably be like probably say like negative 30 or 40% in that one day, whenever it happens. Hey, BCB, could you compare the gold chart back in 2020 to total 3 now? The double tap after breaking out looks so similar. Are we talking about this? Ah, man, I made a video on this 2 weeks ago, brother. This is a accumulation schematic with your sign of strength phase, right? It's typical to get out of here and back test in here. The thing about this is like, this is COVID, right? This is March of 2020. Will we have that same event where you get something like that in here? That's why I was like, I'm kind of like holding off. I'm like, I recognize where we're at, right? Like I recognize that this is all happening, right? I recognize we're in markup after the sign of strength phase, right? We're in phase E. Like, no question, we're in phase E. But it doesn't mean there's not a chance for some real volatility right here. This is all good. My thoughts are still up. Doesn't matter what I think about Bitcoin. Just doesn't matter because I don't even care. This is all gravy. And it doesn't matter. Like, if you are a Bitcoin bull and you want 30% in Bitcoin, cool. My Filecoin 15% bag and HBAR 10% bag is like whatever. This thing still goes. Right? This goes in that situation and it goes way faster than Bitcoin. And in my distribution, this thing goes, right? And when you have accumulation schematics like this is why I can still remain like that. It doesn't matter which scenario I have. The one where we all get screwed, right? Is that, right? That's going to hurt, right? If that happens, that's going to blow, right? Nothing you can do about it, right? That would just be rough. But that's not what this says, right? That's not what this says is up next. It says there could be volatility here still, and it's not like all clear to go, but it also could be, right? So I'm remaining cautious, but I'm in regards to that type of volatility, but not into like this. They coming way down here and stuff like that. This just not even on my radar. Not even on my radar. It's just whether or not there is any slop in here first before it gets a bigger push up. Thank you, Jack. Mod Barber. So Magic Unicorn is making the stock market and Bitcoin on point while keeping XRP chilling at 50 cents area. Well, this is where it would be magical unicorn dust, right? This is where it would happen. If that happens, if that seriously happens right there, and it happens into distribution of Bitcoin right in here, every narrative you thought you knew about XRP is not true. Every single one. And the thing that I have been saying is that it's the market that matters. This is the time where it happens for XRP. It happens in moments like this, or in moments like that. That's it. XRP has never cared about news. I mean, I get it. You get your pump on the news of the SEC loss, right? Price comes right back down. Doesn't go into a bull run. Why? Because this market isn't euphoric. Is this market euphoric for Bitcoin? Yes. If it stayed right here doing this for 4 months or 3 months, what will the sentiment of this market be like? Hope, optimism, bull videos, right? We're rallying around it. BCB's an idiot. We hate him, right? We're the bulls. Let's get the loser, right? The animal spirits still remain here. And it's animal spirits. It's extreme risk taking. It's just willing to have no fear, right? I saw yesterday the most calls out of the money. Like there were absolutely insane number of calls on NVIDIA that expire on Friday for $1,300 for NVIDIA. People betting that the price of NVIDIA will get to $1,300 by Friday. It was like 15,000 call options were opened on it. That's irrational exuberance. That's extreme risk taking. That's euphoria, right? And if we stayed here, you're in euphoria. And the fact is, you got all this setting up in here just as we should, just at the right time. And so if we end up getting it, guess what? Every narrative you know about XRP is not true. And guess what did matter the whole time for XRP? Bitcoin. The thing that they never want to hear, right? And I've explained that a million times. Bitcoin controls the price of XRP. Oh, burn. That's the reality. Like, I mean, I think you probably understand by now. Like, I've been in this thing for, I don't know, 2017, right? I mean, I sold the top of 2017. I started buying back at $1, right? So long 2018, 19, 20, and all that stuff. I've heard all of it. I've heard all of the conspiracies over and over and over, and the same storytelling and the same stuff for forever. And the data does not support any of it. It just supports this matters. Bitcoin matters. And if we are in distribution, we can go back to past areas of where XRP's price does move, and it's right there. All throughout that. Otherwise, if the Bitcoiners want their 30%, it's right there. Then it goes. Do we have the setup for it? Yes. Do we have irrational exuberance, extreme risk-taking, and euphoria? Yes. Is it a switch being flipped? No. Do you think there will be a narrative released right there? Maybe. Maybe. And there you will have it. Then you will fully believe you live in a simulation. Nothing else will be true in the world. It will all have been a simulation, and this was all a dream. And you thought that I was from the future, but I was actually just your dream master guiding you through it. Okay, we're moving on. It's too late in the day to be doing this, right? I've had enough time to just kind of be a goofball all day. All right, G. Raf Har. Be careful with that one. I don't know. Okay, ABCB, how do you identify top in any alts right now? I've been taking profits on Casper recently. It broke the 702, then it's all-time high. Casper's a big bubble, right? I don't know. I don't even look at the Casper chart. Let's go look at it and see if there's anything identifiable in it, because it's something that everybody is chasing. Wait, Caspa? I don't have Caspa. I don't even know what a Caspa is. There it is. Okay, so it's only on MEXC and KuCoin. Bad sign right out the gates. Right? There you go. No breakdown. Something like this. What you have is you have 3 clear waves. Let's see if this wave. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, and we're going to see if this fits, just for fun. I don't think it's going to. I'm going to seem stupid after I do that. Yeah, this chart, no clue. Now I remember. Somebody asked me about it, and I said, I have no clue. This one's definitely no cluer. Not on this one. If you have no responses to anything, oh, there you go. That one has a response. See this, man? Here's the deal. Like, when you go this high, here's how high you go. $12,500. No, it's wrong. 14,553. Why anybody would still continue to be in that after that, I don't know. You made it. You 145x'd. Or it doesn't even matter where you are. Here. 35, 36x. Why anybody would continue to be in that, I don't know. But on something like that, out of my range any longer. All right, moving on. Jay, BCB, could XRP still play out the constructive triangle you mentioned in the previous video? If Bitcoin breaks over 100,000, does that change your price target for XRP things? Nothing is going to change that if we get to a 4.236 extension on the market cap, I'm 65% exited out by the time it actually gets there. Nothing will change that. Doesn't matter what's going on in the market. That's it. No more hopium out of that. My expectations will be that is the top. But I'll still hold 35% in the event that it does. In the event that it does keep going. But also, if it crashes and crumbles to the ground, I will have removed 65% and be okay with that, right? So that's personally how I do things. Whether it will go on beyond that, we'll see. We'll see. But I know people want that really bad. They want any moon stuff. 4.236 extension on the market cap is first and number one priority to see if we're even going to get that. Looking beyond that of like any serious discussion after that, you got to get there first. Like, let's just pray to God we get to a 4.236, right? Can we just pray for that? That's still the thing. It's still first and foremost on whether or not we can get that. Ryan Chase, but thank you, Jay. Ryan Chase gifted 5 BCB memberships. Ryan, thank you very much. Kashav Lakshman. How do you value XRP in the long run? If XRP one day moves $1 trillion a day, why is it greater than 100? Okay. How do you value XRP in the long run? If XRP one day moves $1 trillion a day, why is a greater than $100 XRP unimaginable? Banks routinely move trillions a day. Because XRP moves in 3 seconds. First of all, okay, I don't know where you hear that we're going to be moving $1 trillion a day, but even if you did move $1 trillion a day, XRP moves like from one wallet to another in under 3 seconds. Could you not have $1 billion in XRP, send it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth up to, what would you have to do? 1,000 times $1 billion? So let's do the math. Right? So 1,000 divided by 3 seconds. It only takes 333 seconds divided by 60 seconds in a minute. You could theoretically send $1 billion back and forth 1,000 times, not even burning a whole XRP in fees. And you could do that $1 trillion in 5.5 minutes. But why would it impact the price, right? You know what I mean? Like, why would it impact the price? You know, you're going to have to do math on it, right? Like, it doesn't. And, like, if that's based on plans upon plans upon plan theories, you know, Joel Katz kind of cooled that hype on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if any of those accounts showed that. I showed it here on the channel. Pat, thank you very much, brothers. This morning, BCB, thanks for doing markets in the morning at a reasonably normal time for us Aussies. You'll see what I mean when you get here. Yeah. Right. I titled it Markets in the Afternoon, even though it's not actually the afternoon throughout all of the United States. However, in New York, where Wall Street is, it is 2:48 in the afternoon, right? So like it's afternoon in Wall Street time, even though like half the United States is still in the morning, half is in the afternoon. And Pat, it's technically morning for you, right? What is it, like, I don't know, 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, something like that. Ryan Chase, hit the like to show your appreciation for BCB, the TA master. Ryan, thank you very, very much. Brandon Brader with the super chat. No message, but thank you. Then afterwards, there he's got the message. How do you know that open interest isn't short? They don't differentiate, do they? Oh, we can look at the sentiment. The sentiment's going to straight up tell you it's long. It is long, brother. Because it also moves with the market. Like you could see it on the, let's see if we can pull it up. It goes with price appreciation. Let's go. What was it? CoinGlass. And we'll click on long. It's not going to let me. Okay. You can see the movements with it, right? Open interest gets closed anytime price goes down. Here you go. Right. Notice how much open interest gets opened at the top. Boom, wrecked. Right? How much open interest gets opened at the top? Boom, wrecked. Price rises. Boom, wrecked. Right? Price rises. What comes next? What comes next each time these things happen? Right? So whether or not you read it as long or short, what comes next when the open interest gets that high? When it gets to the level of the absolute peak of the market. A rise in open interest. Okay. Joey says, oh, wait, here we go. Hold on. Arm Day says Zcash making a comeback or still dead. I think it's going to come back, right? It's bounced off its historical lows. I still hold it. I think it's going to make a comeback. Personal opinion. Joey Burton, curious about your long-term base case. If Bitcoin is only retracing, not all-time high, do you see Bitcoin going to all-time high this cycle after a major correction in 2025? Thanks. No, Joey. So if you don't follow me, if you haven't followed me for long, Joey, just kind of comes back to the whole picture of everything out there. Here is the creation of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is created at the depths of the great financial crisis. Every Bitcoin bull run occurs upon a true breakout of the United States stock market. And in the recent newsletter that I show you in here, that what are we looking for, right? Well, you got the breakout in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? Super exciting to see. Hey, right? Is it time to go? Is it time to rally? Well, we've always had within 56 days that Bitcoin goes and breaks out into a new all-time high and keeps going. But there's two very specific elements that are different from right now than we're different from these elements. However, those elements are actually exactly the same as, remember, this little breakout that we had right here that led to the COVID crash. And the elements are the exact same as they were in here. You guys see it a lot about Fed funds rate, and you see it a lot. And one thing I really show you is gold. Gold is not acting in the manners of like you're having this happening in here. Gold is acting exactly like these moments happening in here. And the thing that we don't have for Bitcoin, like everybody wants to say 4-year cycles, but it's not the block reward halving. It is not magical 4-year cycles. It is liquidity in the stock market and money flowing into markets and breakouts and bull runs happening in equity markets that are the 4-year cycles, not the block reward halvings. And the timing of these things are identical. And then when there's these failures happening in here, Bitcoin doesn't get out. Bitcoin fails too. And that's what we have happening right here, is that we are in the exact same scenarios here for the Dow and the NASDAQ and equity markets upon this breakout in here, where all these conditions that are right here were the same conditions pre-COVID, same conditions pre-great financial crisis, and not the same conditions upon breakout in equity markets, which are when? 2012 and 2013, there's Bitcoin's bull run. What's this one? 2016, 2017, that's Bitcoin's bull run. 2020, 2021, that's Bitcoin's bull run. All those conditions are very different in our current market that we're in right now. In the event that this is actually the end of a very long-term cycle and things are changing for equity markets and we are peaking, what does Bitcoin do upon trend change of stock market? If it's only existed in that. The million bajillion dollar question. And that's where you will hear Phoenix rising from the ashes, most sound money, and all the narratives to go store of value and all those things. And what the thing that every single one of the narratives does is the narratives ignore the data. Block reward halving, finite supply, volcanoes, all of it all ignores the data. of the bull runs for Bitcoin. I'm trying to approach it from here's data. I don't care about the narratives. I don't care about ETFs. I don't care about block reward halvings, because I can show the timing of when these events occur, and these all happen at very specific times. You want to cross-check it yourself. Go overlay the Dow Jones. Go overlay Bitcoin. You're going to see it for yourself. The bull runs for Bitcoin. Whoops. The bull runs for Bitcoin. No, let's get rid of this one. We're going to do BLX. We'll go back even further. Breakout bull run. All right, let's do this too. Okay. Great financial crisis lasts from 2007, 2013. Here's Bitcoin's bear market going from 2011 to 2013. It's within 12 days, right? So here's Bitcoin's breakout. Right, within 12 days of taking out the great financial crisis high, which took 5 years, right? Move over to the next one, right? Move over to the next one. This one is within 56 days to touch the all-time high here for Bitcoin. Right? Breakout. True bull run happening in here. Long bear in the range, breakout, right? This one, Dow Jones breaks out into all-time high. Bitcoin doesn't follow. Why? Why? Anybody ever researched it to figure out why? But then it follows it officially over here, right? How did it know? How did it know that was a fake rally here? How did it know not to go, but instead to go 33 days after that one? What was different about that breakout right there than that was different from the last three, which is the 2013 bull run, the 2017 bull run, and the 2020 and 2021 bull run? What was different about that one? And that's where your answer is. And that's why the conditions that are happening currently right now mimic that of pre-COVID, and they mimic that of great financial crisis. And it just so happens to be here. And I still have this altcoin thing on here. Just so happens to be that. So will Bitcoin completely continue its runs and continue its cycles of 4 years and go to 2025? We better see the stock market break out, right? We better see the stock market break out. Do I cheer for the stock market to break out? Of course I cheer for the stock market to break out. But you know where we are. You know the confluence of the events happening here with the NASDAQ, with the Dow, and then Bitcoin just so happens to get to the 702 at the exact same time. You know, we need a miracle here. We need a miracle if we want an epic, mega, face-melting, out-of-control, nonstop, crazy bull run, and not something that's really just kind of like this for the altcoin market, right? But if we want something that's like going to be face-melting, out of control, wild, destructive, surging, call your mom, tell her you're buying her a house kind of rally, we probably need the stock market We need the stock market to go. And a good thing to keep an eye on will gold break down. That's a good signal to look for. Gold, NASDAQ, Dow, DXY, Bitcoin, right? There's a lot of things that need to happen, but what people don't realize right now is all of these things are at those levels. Like they're at them. And I get it. Everybody wants to place their bets and say, well, they'll all break. But to have extreme conviction and say that they will break, like, I sure hope so, but this is the hard part about markets. When you're living in the moment, and especially people get really emotional. I've talked about that a lot too, and it's not to take a stab at anybody in any way. It's just because I'm here the whole time, right? I got the luxury of just getting tons of trash comments for the last year and a half. And then it's like 702 retracement. You get here. No, now you're an idiot because we go higher. Okay. But the psychology of the market is to be scared. Scary, scary, scary. Then the market becomes bull, finally. But it takes it to be so blatantly obvious for them to see it on their face that the reversal happened. But it doesn't become visually stunning to them until we get here, that they're like, oh, now I see it. But they couldn't see it here. But the hard part is to get it here, right? And so then what happens is like, dude, I haven't gotten a 12K comment in forever. I don't see 12K comments anywhere. I don't see any chart analysts on Twitter posting 12K. How many times did you guys see this? How many times did we have to comment on it? Right here. How many chart analysts were doing that from right here? Just back in October, right? I'm like, no, these bears are going to get left behind in epic fashion. Now all the 12Kers are gone. But the thing is, they always come back in here. This is capitulation, right? That's how a bear capitulates. They capitulate once you get back to retrace levels, and that's just part of psychology. And spent a year and a half trying to explain that to people, and then we get here, and then it's exactly what you see. But your question, I've ventured all over the place. Your question is, do we have a cycle in 2025? I think people have to really pay attention to this. They have to really pay attention to what's going on in broader markets right now to see what direction this is going to take. You just witnessed it live of us hit the exact same height as the roaring 20s. That ultimately led to the Great Depression. Do I want that? Of course not. Do I acknowledge that it just happened? You better believe it. And I also acknowledge this is Bitcoin's life history. And I acknowledge that Bitcoin's bear markets all happen when the stock market is correcting. Bitcoin's bull markets all happen when the stock market is truly breaking out. And for some reason, it's been nearly 70 days, the longest in history for any of these breakouts, and Bitcoin hasn't fallen along for some reason. And there's something blatantly different on here, if you don't notice this, that is different from every one of Bitcoin's bull runs. What is different? Each of Bitcoin's bull runs. Okay, got to move on. If the stock market rejects at the 4.236 extension, I don't see another cycle for Bitcoin without taking out the lows of 2018 first. Rodrigo Pimentel, BCBR, you're my favorite TI guy. Now with this dev activity and TVL research, you got more of a fundamental analysis. I think that's an evolution, don't you? This nothing changes in regards to retracement levels, extensions, and liquidity flows throughout the whole market. But the cold hard reality was we had a market change in 2021 from 2017, and having to go on and say, was there a signal on the chart that said it? Was it something else that said it? Why this market changed so drastically, right? And if we want to see who were the ones that ended up getting the liquidity to do more than just retrace, right? Because most things retraced. Even like I know I'll poke fun at SiaCoin, right? Even though I own it, right? I poke fun at it. But even SiaCoin retraced, and it was a massive rally. It was like a 8,000% rally, but it only went back into a retracement, right? It didn't go breaking into new all-time highs, right? So lots of stuff just goes back to the retracement level, and that is rejection. Even EOS, it goes back to its retracement level, and then it's rejection. And it was like, what was the fundamental difference that were the ones that were capable of escaping from retracement levels versus ones that rejected from them? The ones that were able to escape were the highest development. The ones that rejected were the ones that were lower. So it becomes, which one has the more probability of escaping retracement levels? Higher development. By the way, does anybody know development rankings of Bitcoin? Anybody know active wallet usage? It's all very down. It's all very down for Bitcoin. Thank you, Rodrigo. Jasper, please do check out. Nah, dude, I don't believe in that. I'm not going to give it anything. I understand math, but you have to understand this was super cycle for Bitcoin. I'm not in the belief we're going to all-time high. We got all-time high. Congratulations to everybody who went for the final, whatever you're going for. Are you going for 60% on Bitcoin? What are people going for? I'm going for all-time high, 34%. Who could care less? Who could care? Look at these things and how they pop and how they move. It just doesn't matter to me. Like whatever people are chasing up in here. I mean, I wish you the best, man. If you are a boomer, like boomer percentages or what you're after, good for you, man. What are you going for, 86? You're going for $87,000. You're going for 70%. That's cool, man. This is the most volatile market in the world. If I'm going to be playing in this thing, dude, I'm not going for 80. I'm not going for 70%. I'm going for nasty percentages. But no, this market, I'm not going to argue other people's opinion, right? Like if you've seen my stuff, if you saw how we got the top of Bitcoin, super cycles, right? We got it, super cycles. It's how we got it. It's also why it's very critical. People saying, hey, this is 2019. We're repeating 2019, right? That we're doing crash, retrace, reaccumulation and going. And then they all said we're back here and that, oh no, like right here, remember all this? They're all pointing to 2019 and saying we're about to do this whole move down in here from 20. I'm like, what are you talking about? In addition, even though I'm saying this, right, like this concerning level here has nothing to do with 2019. It literally has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with that. That's the trouble. That's the thing I look at and I say, like, I can't wake people up enough. If they are 4-year block reward having theorists and they are like in the cult of Sailor, right? If you're in that, no data I can tell you is going to break you from the cult because you're just in a cult. You're with a group of people and like you all find camaraderie together and like data is going to do nothing for you. Bitcoin has only existed in that. And like I saw something get retweeted the other day where maybe it was even somebody from Ripple saying that very low correlation to equity markets. I couldn't believe my ears that was coming out from Ripple. It just that's just blatantly false. Blatantly false. Blatantly false. Blatantly false. Like hopefully this thing does go and retail hasn't low long to the top of the stock market. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. Anthony Z, if alts take off like it's supposed to, where do you see XRP going? Geez, Anthony. Please, man, watch the channel, brother. Yeah, sure. There's people watching probably, right? So we talk about this, like if you're capable of getting a full move out of XRP, like fingers crossed, pray to God, hey, it gets up there to 4.236 extension on the market cap. If that happened, that'd be like 950 or something like that. If that, what was it, 964? We did it yesterday, I think. If that ends up happening, man, I'm 65% out by the time we end up getting there. That would be the most optimistic scenario. If this thing does contracting triangle and goes massive, 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 it'd take a lot to do it. I don't mind cheering for it, but that's the main thing, is watching that. But at the same time, like I mentioned earlier in the video, a thing I'm really focusing on at the same time is just what structure happens in here for Bitcoin. And like if this ABC's into a retrace right there, regardless of where price at, if price hasn't hit a 4.236 extension, if you haven't hit in retracement levels on altcoins, you haven't done anything, there becomes a point in time for me where I have to say, I gotta cut. That's it right there. So hopefully it gets to over 9. But otherwise I have to start making serious considerations in the event of that. But we talk all throughout there. We're not there yet, right? There's still enough room for me to be the most hated man on Twitter for months on end, which I don't enjoy being, people. It's not what I want to be. I'd love for it to be, hey, good job, we got to 702. All this time, I thought we'd never get there, but sure enough, we ended up doing it. It doesn't become that. It becomes, oh crap, let me buy it. No, you're wrong. And just not the best part of the job. If you go check out my Twitter, my Twitter comments. But yeah, that would end up being it. Regardless. All right. Andy Philpott, thank you very much, sir. Human, do you see larger time frame wave count on Bitcoin? I don't know what you're looking for. Well, if this rolls over, right, this becomes like this will be the completed. This becomes your third completed super cycle, right? Your 2011, 2013, and your 2015 through 2021. So anybody who has been following the channel for years on end, right? This is how we got the top of the Bitcoin, was super cycle. In the event that the stock market rolls over, in the event that Bitcoin goes with it, what do you have in Elliott wave theory? If you've completed 3, right? Call it you have 3 super cycles, or within what? They're within a grand super cycle in Elliott wave theory. So after you've completed 3 completed cycles, what do you end up doing? ABC, which would mean, and where does ABC go to? Here, right? In the event that the stock market rolls over, in the event that the Dow tops, no historical data to support Bitcoin going into a bull run, and that it would mean A, B, C. Again, the most hated man on Twitter. All right, we're gonna keep going. I don't want to stir the pot with all that, but that's what it would be. Bitcoin all-time high soon. There we go. Mike Benedito. There you go. Bitcoin all-time high soon. I hope you're right, Mike. Pat gifted 5. Thank you very much, Pat. Gifted 5 memberships. Boy, well, you guys are just flying, man. How far behind am I? I'm 15 minutes behind. Saints HD, do you have any hard data on Bitcoin following the stocks other than the charts? What more do you need? What more do you need? Do you need the timing? Like how many days it takes? Markets break out, retail goes euphoria, everybody becomes excessively confident and throws money into markets together. That's what retail loves, right? Retail loves all-time highs. And so that's when they go hard into assets. Um, but yeah, timing. You can clearly see it with the timing. I don't know what more you want. Dustin gifted 1 BCB. Whether you're wanting like 0% federal funds rate after crashes of markets, or after cutting cycles crash markets, and then when Fed funds rates are at 0. Yeah. All of Bitcoin's bull runs have been like that. We're at 5.25%, by the way. 5.25% Fed funds rate. Dustin, thank you, Saints HD. Dustin gifted 1 BCB membership. Dustin, thank you very much, sir. SR 1996. Hey BCB, I love you, dude. I understand not financial advice, but when talking about profits from algo, do you think the 382 level is reasonable? Not financial advice. First of all, go check the market cap chart. Go see where that is. Go line that up on algo. Go do all that. And algo is one of those ones, like, it was a long time ago. I'm just like, look, this thing's getting abandoned, you guys. Like, who knows? Animal spirits could wake it up. There's a lot of retail in there. If the price starts moving a little bit, all they're going to do is they're just going to start all over Twitter. Algo's moving. And then that gets other people who are following to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss the train. They were all right about algo. It's up 200%. Oh my God, I missed it. I better buy it. Right? Why is price going up? Because people are buying it. Why are people buying it? Because price is going up. That moment of time can always be wild, right? But yeah, I'd check your market caps, right? There's going to be someone with a tremendous amount of supply, and they've got a point picked out where they want to get rid of it. I'd check the market cap and then measure the percentages, like we did in yesterday's example for XRP. But I don't want this to become algo questions on the channel. I'm gonna have to move on, brother. Thank you very much, though. Patrick, thank you very much. Super cycle number 4 would still be in play even if we stop now at the retracement levels. The fractal would bring us to around 56K before testing 30K. Yeah, but yeah, you're trying to go super cycle 4 without completing a correction, right? Like, so, like, just Elliott wave theory, right? This is Elliott wave theory, right? That you would have to keep pulling back. So, like, the idea of it in the first place is Elliott wave theory and super cycles. Elliott wave theory would suggest that having to happen. You don't typically have number 4. What you do is you have grand super cycle, right? And so, like, essentially, even if you had that thought, you'd be like, well, this is all wave 1. Then long wave 2, and then go on for wave 3. Go for your million bajillion dollar Bitcoins, right? But then you'd need a real big reset, right? And just recognizing that. So, Ethan, did you say US? Thank you, Ethan. Grippy Socks, can you look into left translate? No. Also, Wet Moon, thank you very much. Big Shroom, just wanted to say thank you. Thank you very much, Big Shroom. Hope I didn't miss anybody. I think I'm good. Big Shroom, thank you, Sarah. Andy Philpott, come on, peeps. Hit the like button. I just did it. So can you. Yeah, we're only at 1,200. I think it's late, right? I got you in that afternoon funk, right? You're like, man, I'm working. I'm supposed to be working. Like, I start my mornings usually with you, BCB. Like, you're part of my routine in the morning, and I do my thing. And then you came in here late afternoon. I've had lunch. I'm kind of tired. You're all upbeat and stuff, but I'm pretty much done for the day. I'm just looking to drive home. But you know what? It'll make you feel better. You just hit that like button. Close out the chat. Hit the like button. And hey, all gravy. Thank you, Andy. Gamed Out. Gifted 5 BCB memberships. Gamed Out. Thank you, man. SR 1996. Hey, BCB. Oh, wait. We already... So, see, I did miss stuff. Like, how did I get all the way to SR? Oh, you asked again. You asked a second time. Wait, what? Yeah, that was the second time you asked. An algo. I can't do algo, man. This is like, what did we have yesterday? What was yesterday's one? It was the XDC guys. The day before, it was the VeChain guys. I'm just not a fan of something that has that big of a decline in development activity, or given any type of like reasonable ideas on what I think. It's something that has been dying, right? Like it's just something that from a development standpoint has been dying and getting asked, hey, that thing that's like dying development wise, like what do you think the price can go up to? Like, kind of made mistakes in 2021 trying to learn from that. I'm not really comfortable with it. Sihan Lifestyle, and I'm not familiar with them, right? Like if they're like, I'm just not following. If you follow it and they're like, hey, we're trying to hold new hackathons, we're trying to improve our stuff, we're trying to do stuff, maybe that's a different story. I just don't know a single thing about Algorand. Sihan Lifestyle, data-driven analytical people are nowadays hated a lot in many other different topics as well. Keep it up. I love your content, even though it's also, for me, a very bitter pill to swallow. Thank you very much. Yeah, did you know that economists are the most untrusted profession? Economists. More than weathermen. Maybe even more than politicians or economists. Because they're following models, right? They're following models in a perfect world, right? Then you get things like COVID. And you get things like housing market crashes and irresponsible lending that doesn't show up in the data, right? And then it surprises the market. So all these models are based off fairy tales. Well, I'm an economist. I'm using a fancy model, but it accounts for no surprises. It accounts for perfection. And so that's why when people say, hey, what's your 5-year outlook on something like that? I'm like, well, things are always changing. If I had a very serious 5-year outlook, I would be saying, hey, like, well, it was only 3 years ago, less than 3 years ago, COVID crash happened. That was like a big surprise to the market. Like, could we do something like that within the next 5 years? Of course, I could think of a million different surprises that could happen to the market. Yeah. But thank you. I went on a rant. Gamed out. Long-time viewer. Are there historical examples of Bitcoin didn't print an all-time high, only retraces and still triggers a significant alt season? It essentially, the altcoin seasons essentially happen in topping phases of Bitcoin, either breakouts of Bitcoin or topping phases of Bitcoin. We have no examples of historical behavior where we could sit here and say, when is the time that Bitcoin has topped here into the retracement, right? We know we're deep enough into something for it to happen, like time-wise. Like you're just deep enough from consolidations and all of that for you to get it. Right? How long you been in this thing? Look at that. Time-wise, you're deep enough for you to get one. Right. That's why I've continuously argued we're not 2019. Do you guys realize how long into this thing we actually are? We're very, very long into this thing. That's why you guys have seen this one so many times too. Right. How long into it you are. You're not in the beginning. You're not halfway. You're in it where you've been in long enough. Rotation, topping out, price bullish, retail investors massively bullish, but price can't go up any higher, right? That is where we see it happen. When retail gets massively bullish, they're ready to throw their money around. They're ready to do whatever they can, but price in Bitcoin just doesn't continue to go any higher. They get bored and they start chasing in other places. So that's conceptually here, right? Otherwise, you say, all right, well, you're in the tops and then you're in retracements. That's also where they happen. But no, this would be a first time, right? And so that's why my theory is so hated. It's why, how can he believe this? This is not what the market has ever done. This is totally different than how the market has behaved. But this has been my theory the whole time, right? Nothing has changed. This has been my theory the whole time. That this is where it all happens at. because we go back and we look at all the past super cycles and you say, you're saying that it's not going to act the same way. And that's what I've said from the very beginning. I think the very first time I went on the BitBoy Crypto YouTube channel, I go onto it and I say, yeah, I think Bitcoin's going to retrace, but it's not going to go into a new all-time high. Their jaws drop to the floor. Like this dude came onto our channel and he says the Bitcoin's not going to go into a new all-time high. Yeah, we're going to retrace, but we're not going to go into a new all-time high. Somebody go find the clip. I know somebody knows exactly what I'm talking about. I get off the channel. They're all like, yeah, he's wrong about that. Right? So my messaging isn't any different. This is just my theory because I think we have already reached euphoria. I think we've already reached excessive risk-taking and people are willing to act like animals in wildness. But I don't think Bitcoin's going to get out because it's already completed super cycles and that we distribute here. We just distribute and the altcoins go nuts in distribution. If I'm proved wrong and if Bitcoin goes higher, whoop-de-doo, it goes up another 30%. I caught 200% of the move. Goodbye, 30%. I'm all loaded in here. This stuff would go bonkers, right? So that's kind of where we're at, right? For those who are like, hey, like, are we really enemies? Like, think about it for a second. If you like hate me on my ideas on Bitcoin, like if you think he's so wrong, Bitcoin's so going to go here, what's going to happen to the altcoin market, right? If this happens, what's going to happen to the altcoin market, right? Are we actually just on the same team, but we just have a different idea of what's going to happen right here, right? You may find that we're just on the same team the whole time. I just don't care about Bitcoin. And like mathematically, like, and I've done all the work for you and like these newsletters too to prove to you math, like math. I like math. Bitcoin is bad for math. Run your numbers, look at all your things. Like, where are you targeting? What are you really trying to do? And like, if that's the end of the whole cycle for Bitcoin, percentage wise, was that really all you cared about? Are we really like, we hate this guy because that 34%? Dude, hey, bro, let me tell you something. There's things called altcoins, dude. They go nuts, dude. Like they do that in a day. They do that in like hours sometimes, bro. Like, come on over to the altcoin side. Come to BCB Daddy. Let me show you the way. All right, we're done. We're done. What am I at? An hour and a half? What am I doing? Okay, I got to keep going. I'm going to go faster. Thank you, Gamed Out. Andy Philpott gifted 20 memberships, man. Thank you, Andy, brother. Thank you. I'm going to go fast. If we have altcoin questions, guys, I'm going to be skipping them. I'll say what's up and thank you, but I'm going to have to skip them. If Ethereum runs in Bitcoin corrections, you think Ethereum can flip Bitcoin market cap? I don't mathematically know. We'd have to do that on another stream. I'm at an hour and a half right now. I can't do that. Would require like 4 different charts for me to calculate all that. I don't know. I don't think it's close right now, right? Let me look at the math really fast. Market cap. So Ethereum has to pretty much 3x from here. Is that possible? Maybe. Man, could you imagine Bitcoiners? Could you imagine it? Not that I care, right? See, like I'm not in the camp, right? Like XRP is my biggest bag. I got XRP on the logo on my hat, but like I'm not like diehard maxi on anything. Like I don't mind poking at everything, right? Maybe. I mean, geez, boy, it would have to go big. So what would Ethereum have to get? If Ethereum got to what, $10,000, that would flip Bitcoin, I think. I'm not going to bust out of the charts because I got to keep going. But let me say this too here, like XRP community, like I'm fighting for you. When we're talking about this development activity, we're talking about me flying all the way to Australia to do this type of stuff and talk about these things. This is not to just sit there and throw my hands up in the air and cry like a baby. This is to bring attention and work on improvement, right? I care. I want things to improve. I want us to be the best. Hands down, because no other community deserves it more. No other community has had to unfairly go through BS like that community has. None. And if anybody deserves it, it's that community out of all of them. No other communities matter. You're some degen who just longs some YOLO altcoin and you think you deserve it. You don't. You haven't suffered. You haven't gone through the pain. That community deserves it. These are folk. I'm trying to work towards it. And I said it in 2023 that in 2024 my focus was going to be on development activity. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, what am I doing? Anyway, yeah, I guess I'd have to get to 10K. Richie Lababa, BCB, so much love. So if 64K was a technical top, that would mean expanded flat, which can only happen in B or 2 or 4. So why no new all-time high? It's a fair argument, right? I did a whole video about that on Ethereum, right? So, but what you would also have to argue is that Bitcoin isn't going to go to 100K, 150K, 200. You need to be arguing way, way, way higher, right? To a 250,000, right? 250,000. My problem with Bitcoin in particular is specifically its correlation to the stock market. If the stock market breaks out and goes and rips, maybe so. And I'm willing for that, right? And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of new people in the market, or anybody who doesn't follow any TA and just relies on fundamental analysis and relies on Twitter people. Where are you going to risk manage anything? You know that markets do this, right? You know that this is how markets work, correct? You also know that this is how markets work. The question is identifying, are you in one of these or are you in one of these? When you do one of these, the places where these things tend to stop and say, we're not going any higher, is in these areas. And when you get there, you could choose to risk manage it. You could choose not to. But if it rolls over and you scream, oh, nobody could have saw it coming. That's how you try to identify them. When you're in uptrends, you do the same thing. You say, hey, are we done? Let's watch that area and find out. Let's risk manage that area. That's where you're at on Bitcoin. But the problem is, too much euphoria came in here. And no one wants to risk manage it, right? If it gets through all of these things, hip, hip, hooray. LFG, let's go, right? But this is always the areas where struggles can happen at. And we have to get through them. And like what I see so much of is people just think that I'm now the ultimate bear devil when I told you for a year and a half we're going there. And then we get there and then they're so mad. They're so mad. It's just that let's see what the market does, right? Let's see how it all reacts in these retracement levels. And let's see how the stock market reacts. But as for Bitcoin, I'm willing to take it on the chin and be wrong on it going up. But what I'm not willing to do is to sit here and say, yeah, it's going to break out from here in any means. I want the records to be very clear, very, very clear on where I stood with Bitcoin at this level. Very clear. Kashab. Total 2 over XRP has 16 consecutive weekly green candles. Reverse it. Hey, man, maybe it's time, right? Maybe it's time for just the ultimate, complete, utter news. Could you imagine if there is some catalyst that shows up right there? You waited until Bitcoin did a full 7-0 retracement in distribution. XRP has the structure, and then news enters right there. What news are we looking for in the case? What's the last thing you're looking for? You're looking for settlement with Ripple or something like that, but I don't think that impacts anything, does it? Eric, thank you very much, brother. Gabriel, gifted a BCB membership. All right, guys. Amy, thank you very much. All right, guys. Have an absolutely wonderful day. We have reached the end of this thing. I've caught up on the entire chat. That's it. Check out the newsletter. Have a wonderful day. Blockchainbacker.substack.com. Check out bcbacker.com. And I ran this thing for an hour and 34 minutes, you guys. Keep an eye over there on the stock market. We'll see how things go as we are right on the cusp of 4.236. I think it's about 150 points below it. But we have hit the exact height of the roaring 20s, guys. That's it. I wish you all the best. Thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please like the live stream. Give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one!